Jared Leto and Anne Hathaway, come on now. It's a no-brainer. I had to check this one out, and I'm very excited to get into it. So let's start that right now, folks. My review of the new series, WeCrashed. What's up, folks, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're reviewing the series WeCrashed, coming to Apple TV Plus March 18th. Now, this series is 8 episodes, about an hour each, and it is inspired by actual events. And spoiler alert, the folks involved are alive, there's no tragedy, and the company is real. So you may have heard of them, you may have seen them, but they are currently still actively making news. So we'll just say that is that. And this series dates, I think the events of this series starts around 2010 all the way into pretty much current. So a lot of these things, a lot of the references you're going to be very familiar with, whether you heard about them or their business or not. But Jared and Anne, they play the couple of Adam and Rebecca. Adam is one of the founders of WeWork, and then Rebecca comes along at some point and becomes a pivotal part into the growth of this company. But yeah, it's a love story worth $47 billion. And WeWork, their company, is an American commercial real estate company that's providing flexible shared workspaces for technology startups and services for other enterprises. And for themselves, they were a startup company that turned into one of the biggest, most profitable companies to date. So this series, really isn't, and this genre, it really isn't my forte, shall I say. I really don't care much for it. But I still enjoyed this because I just thought the acting was so good, and the characters I was so invested in. But like the events of everything, of rich people getting more rich and all that sorts of stuff, I mean, you've seen it once, you've seen it again. Like in terms of stuff, something like Wolf of Wall Street or Social Network, it's the same. So I wasn't really like shocked, or I wasn't like sitting at the edge of my seats about what the next events were going to be. I was just more or less invested into the characters, and I think that's what this did well, was that it casted two phenomenal actors to really carry this series. I really don't know if they did not have strong leads how I would have enjoyed this, but for that, I did get through it, and I did overly enjoy it. I was definitely compelled by the acting the entire time. But like again, the events that occurred, I was kind of like, okay, whatever. I really didn't feel any connection to it. But Rebecca, who, the wife of Adam, her story was very interesting. And I also think, when you are like a founder of a company in Adam, a lot of your story and a lot of your, your whereabouts and whatnot is on the public facing side of things. So like to kind of hear more about the wife was, I think, the more interesting part to this, which is why I feel like a lot of the series focused on that. Knowing more about Rebecca and her place with Adam, her place with the company, and so on. But in terms of the company itself, I mean, Adam wanted the company to be the next Facebook. And with that, yeah, the company faced a lot of ups and downs. It made money. It lost a lot of money. It grew its employees. It also fired a lot of employees. There was scandal. There was, I guess we can say, corruption. There was definitely lawsuits. There was deceit. All sorts of those things definitely was attached to this brand. But hey, they're still alive and they're still pumping. They're still bringing in money. So there's that. And ultimately, Adam, just as a complete billionaire, of course, he's going to have those irate moments, which Jared absolutely smashed all of those scenes, and of course a lot of it was him convincing people to buy in, and then all of the things rich people do, spend a lot of money, sell people dreams in order to get them to buy in, and I'll talk about it in a second, but obviously, yeah, when it came down to his wife, what was more important, his wife or the business? And we seen all that as well too. But yeah, speaking of Rebecca, I mean, Rebecca's story was so interesting because like we got the, we knew more about her past and her relationship with her father, the impact of her losing her brother, the challenges she faced in the public eye. She definitely had some very close to being canceled moments, you know. And then her wanting to be an actor, which did not quite work for her. But she has a cousin everybody knows, and Gwyneth Paltrow, excuse me. And with that, you know, there was also a little bit of motivation as to like, I can do it too, but kind of didn't work out for her. But yeah, I think, you know, Rebecca's journey was clearly the most interesting parts of this series, because throughout all of this, she kind of loses herself, and to a point, she pretty much becomes invisible to Adam, because Adam prioritizes the business over her, as you can see. But hey, somehow they're still functioning, and there's some other stuff with her as well too that I won't spoil. But like throughout all of this, they're still together, and they have 5 kids, so you know, it's not that bad. But we truly see that, to me, Rebecca really sacrificed a lot in the eye of success for Adam. And some comments she makes early in this series, well, she really stood by them. That's what I would say. But again, when it comes down to Jared and Ann, they just have fantastic chemistry. And Gwyneth does not make a cameo in this, but there were some good cameos in Run DMC. Who else was in this? In Q-Tip. But yeah, so yeah, there was a little bit of celebrity coming through here at once. And in terms of the work culture, work life, and working for them, it was very, very bizarre. Especially for women, and I don't know how that's going to kind of spin into the public eye once this comes out, because it definitely does not seem like a safe or healthy or desired place for women. And we're not just talking about in terms of equal pay, but like all sorts of other different things, and they very much expressed that within this documentary, and especially in, I think, like episode 3, they made it very clear that women definitely face their challenges with it, and you would think that Rebecca would kind of be an advocate for them. You kind of have to see how that plays out. But like I said, there was nothing that really shocked me in this, you know, in terms of the events and the timeline of things. Like I said, I think it pretty much starts around 2010 up into current. It was nothing that was just like, oh my God, I can't believe they made that decision. Oh my God, I can't believe they lost that much money. I think it just comes with the business. You know, when you want to be an entrepreneur and you go out there and your goal is set to make millions, then billions of dollars. Yes, we know there's going to be some ups. There's going to be some downs. There's going to be some goods. There's going to be some bads. There's going to be some friends. There's going to be some enemies. There's going to be some heartbreaks. There's going to be some smiles, and all of those types of things kind of happen, you know. And I gotta say, you know, I guess the whole big thing is that they made a bunch of money, and then a year they lost a bunch of money, and you kind of go through all of the details as to how these things happen. But as I said, they're still kind of thriving right now, so there's that. And in this business, everybody makes money, everybody loses money, so again, nothing surprising to me here. But for real, if something like Wolf of Wall Street really interested you, or Social Network, I think you will have a very fun time with this, you know, especially anybody who actually has a mindset to want to pursue something similar to their own, where they say, hey, we want to be the next WeWork or Facebook or whatever it may be. Yeah, you're gonna learn a lot about the business, that's for sure. There's a bunch of detail about how investors work and all sorts of different things, and like they definitely iron out all that information. But to me, that was kind of boring. I was kind of like, okay, cool, don't care. But again, with a very strong dual performance by Academy Award winners Jared Leto and Anne Hathaway, it completely carried the series. And I was like, yeah, this is pretty solid. So I would not be surprised if we see this near award season. I mean, I know it's pretty early in the season, but if they can keep their memory banks alive, I think this will be one people are going to be talking about performances wise. It was pretty good. Man, I'm telling you, Apple's putting out some good stuff, folks. For real. But yeah, check it out. Let me know. There's also a Hulu documentary on this as well too, so you may be familiar with this whole company and whatnot. So you know, this is now just bringing a dramatized version of events where there wasn't a lot of drama, but a lot of fact and a lot of just revelations of how things were playing out and whatnot. But if it interests you, check it out. If you're just a fan of the two leads, then totally check it out. But as always, stay tuned, because you know we got more reviews coming very soon. Thank you for watching, folks.